Lose your judgment. Yeah. All ready to go over there. Now, administrator.
Yes, sir.
We're online, ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, then we'll call the meeting to order and like it's down to administrator to call the roll, please.
Alex was that?
Here.
Dan Brickstead,
Here.
Will Hyson,
Here.
Eddie Payne,
Here.
Walter Townsend,
Here.
and Roger Whitley.
Here. Then we're gonna have to give it all to that, I don't want to leave. Let allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started here, I've got something special to do, so I'm going to slip around the front here. Last, this is a little bit involved, but it's worked out for the best. Last week, person I know lost a credit card. Dropped it somewhere on the streets around here. And I know I helped her look for it, couldn't find it. The next, I guess it was the next day or that afternoon, next day maybe, y'all had seen Liz and young Carter. He on his bike and Liz dutifully behind him. Carter found a credit card. So he gives it to Liz. And Liz says, in turn, gives it to Nancy because she thinks Nancy might probably knows this person whose name is on the card. She contacted me and I went and picked it up from Nancy and got the card back to the rightful owner. Now, anybody could pick that card up and some, they could have really done a lot of damage. So got to thinking about it, and we have our Citizen of the Year award that the chamber puts on, but we have citizens that do things all throughout the year, but they shouldn't have to wait to the end of the year to be recognized for something good that they did. So Carter, if you and Liz would come forward, please, for just a moment. I'm going to start tonight with Town of Scottsville Good Citizen Report. what this says is, Town of Scottsville, Good Citizen Award awarded to Carter Clark in recognition of his honesty and help in finding and returning a fellow citizen's lost property. And it's dated today and signed on date. And also, I'd like you to have an official Scottsville pin. So, if we had more young people like you, we'd be in a lot better shape. So, thank you for all you did. And Carter has a 7:30 bedtime, so we will see. Not to get you all necessary. So one thing we'll need to get straight on the agenda is the consent calendar. And we'll have to educate every town administrator for the consent calendar. So tonight, we don't really have the consent calendar on our agenda. But we will get that straight for next month. I don't have a whole lot of anything to add to what we talked about last week. I will mention that this coming Sunday, the 21st, no, not this coming, yeah, this coming Sunday, 21st. The Creatures Great and Small Festival is at the Farmers Market Pavilion from noon to 4. And there'll be music and probably some food trucks and petting zoo and all kinds of animals for adoption. So get a chance to go out there and support this. I think Chief is here tonight for me for reasons, so. I'm going to skip over that and we're just going because this one in person. We'll all switch on down to the town administrator and see if you want to go into the type of report at this point.
Actually, so I apologize about not having the consent calendar, it's not illustrated.
Yeah, we get some story on that.
Okay, all right. I did, however, put in, the information here, the 3 ordinances or policies that we spoke about last week, and, I did, prepare a public reading or a summary, and then, to vote on it in that aspect. I'm not sure if that's meeting or is that the same thing?
We're gonna get on down list and for each of you. Introduce those.
Okay, okay.
Anything else you need to report on at this point, this is a good time to do it.
No.
Okay. Any questions about anything for the town administrator or anything what we're gonna talk about later on the topics? All right. Go down the list, ARP, Mr. Passett, anything new and exciting on that since last week?
Looks like we have some stuff on the agenda further down, so nothing from me.
Good. Good. Mr. Frisco, anything?
The planning commission has a work session on Wednesday this week at 7 o'clock, where we're going to be reviewing the comprehensive plan. And we're meeting at an unusual time to take advantage of the opportunity to continue working on this project.
Time, Wednesday.
7 o'clock, so.
So it's not a, sort of originally was thought of as a must attend meeting for council people, but it is not a must attend. If you want to go to it, you're certainly welcome to do. But this, as Stan said, is a work session, so we get this comp plan finished up. Mr. Bison, anything new to report?
The government service didn't meet, but they did look at the van and vehicle policies. We got on that, but excuse me, I didn't make that kind of meet the other day, but they did look at that, so we'll wait till next month. And the Parks and Rec didn't meet this month either. But we may meet later, but the parks look in good shape. Good for the most part.
When we had our work session last Monday, it was on the eve of the board meeting for the Chamber of Commerce on Tuesday morning, and Mr. Walker's here. You have anything you want to report on?
Sure, Chair.
Yes, sir.
Evening, everybody.
Hey, Dave.
Not a whole lot to report on as far as anything that you haven't heard before, but I want to keep it on the front of your mind. One thing that was I'll get to those items in a minute, but the one thing that was new information, we had Sylvia Jenkins come to the meeting and with an idea for the town that she presented to the Chamber of Commerce. She has taken a visit to her hometown, noticed there was scarecrows decorated for around the businesses in the town. They had a little festival and everything was really festive. And so she had the idea to bring that to our town and wanted to get our support or help with it. One of the things I've always wanted to make the chamber is that we don't ever want to say no to an idea. We always welcome any idea. Anybody wants to do anything in town, more power to them. They want to take the charge on it, have them at it, and then we'll support them however we can at that point in time. This point in time happens to be really busy for us. We have the annual dinner coming up and the wine festival coming up, which we've never put on before. So we're all kind of pulling our hair out over those items, but we listened to her and she's taking the ball and running with it. So far, what she envisioned is a hay bale with a T-post sticking out in front of the businesses, and then the business can decorate that T-post as a scarecrow, however they see fit, whether it's a pizza guy out front of the Beachies or bee suit guy out front of the bee store, whatever makes sense for whatever business. What she's witnessed at her own town is people walking up and down, taking pictures with the scarecrows, going, making sure they go to all of them, and of course gets people to circulate in town. Maybe bring some outside visitors into town to see once those social media posts get out there. So I thought it was a good idea, and we're still working through it. So we got the hay bales donated, or she got the hay, she met with someone to donate the hay bale. So we're still looking for 30 or so T-posts, 7 to 8 feet tall. Anybody knows where they might be, we'll give them back when we're done. But so that was a bit of new information. It's kind of short notice to do it for the Halloween Fall Festival, but we're going to see how it plays out. At the worst, I think it's something we can put off till next year and really get a run start with it and have it set up for next year. We may do just a few this year, see how it goes, or if we get a lot of buy-in really quick, we'll go all the way with it. We had the after hours on Wednesday of last week with combination with Scan. We took a tour of the Victory Hall Theater, got a lot of historical context from Nancy and Mr. Mayor here. That was really cool. I learned stuff I'd not known before. And then we convened at the gallery for checking out the new space over there and new art exhibits over there. Then made it all the way over to the brewery. So it was a little bit of bouncing around town and enjoying each other's company. Different people came at different times and were able to participate at their leisure. And I thought it was a good event. Coming up Thursday, October 2nd, is our annual dinner, which you're all invited to, being the town chamber member. And it's going to be at Hardware Hills around 6 o'clock dinner time. Something new this year, we are asking people to purchase tickets. We had a few people last year not said they were coming to RSVP and not show up after we bought their dinner and they didn't come to eat it. So trying to get a little bit more buy-in and selling tickets this year, but also with those proceeds, we're aiming to give that money back to the folks that do come out. And so we're giving away 2 $500 Better Your Business awards at the dinner. So all you gotta do is sign up and have a business card to submit, and you are in. So that's the new information about the annual dinner. Tickets are $20. Have a great speaker there. Elizabeth is going to introduce herself to the business owners that come to the dinner and give a kind of state of the town brief as far as she sees it in her first few months here. And I think it's also a good opportunity for y'all, or any messages you want to convey to businesses at large, to pass on that information to Elizabeth, what y'all are working on, or what's a big deal, or what you think important to convey to the businesses on a little bit larger scale. After that, we have the wine festival coming up in Saturday, October 18th. And we're getting a lot of good traction. I believe TV commercials start this week, radio commercials. I'm not exactly sure if they're already planned or not. But advertisement on social media is going well, and we should be have a successful event when these weather holes shoot for. So that'll go from 11 to 4:30 ish. Be done by 5. Get cleaned up for the twilight tours afterwards.
Well, unfortunately, I got an email this morning, the Twilight Tours may be canceled.
Oh no.
Kristen, who usually does the recruiting of actors and the writing of the script, was not gonna be able to do that this year.
Mm.
So we're thinking right at this point, at this late notice, just have to cancel Twilight Tours
That is unfortunate.
this year.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess let us know when that's official. And
Being Greg Weinlaw.
okay. Well, that's a good point. Those twilight tours would have been a lot.
Maybe we've got to post-
You know, and we'll know that for sure because Stan has had involved with that too.
Yeah, that's the email I got from Laura this morning.
Are not good. I don't think
So,
she said.
So it's official that it's canceled. That's what I'm trying to determine.
like I say, I got a letter saying we should cancel it, email saying we should probably cancel it, and I have not been back on email since this morning. I thought.
Well, maybe give it a day for the information to circulate and see if anybody wants to take it on.
Big job. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Walker?
I actually have a question for you. So I'm not really sure what you mean by poles.
T-post. Those are green and posts that have that little flare at the bottom.
Metal fence posts.
Yeah, that you like hammer in to like run like a metal wire fence down along. So it's just imagine a 7-foot metal pole post that you can then, zip tie a broom handle or whatever to make the arms and decorate however you want. But it's just something that'll be tall enough, sturdy enough to support some weight and go down to hay bale for support.
Okay, because I was thinking if you didn't find those, maybe you could put them on the pole, the light poles, the light fixtures along the street. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if the town doesn't have any objections to that, I'll mention it to Sylvia, see what she thinks about that. I'm not sure how that would work out if it's being close to the
The
track.
problem with that, if you're gonna put a crossbar,
Yeah.
your arms stick out over the sidewalk and other edge of the park.
And if it's parallel to the sidewalk, as long as it doesn't spin. It's something to think about though.
Or
Maybe give
maybe
it,
not even do the scale, maybe. I don't know how you could do it. Maybe put them up taller, so the arms wouldn't be where someone could block themselves,
yeah.
At least straw bales or like pumpkins, flowers, something like that, and every other like those to those.
Yep. Different ways to work around it.
Yeah. James will talk to Sylvia about it.
Yep. Yep, I'm due for a phone call to her. I'll bring it up, sit, at least let her know you all, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions? Thank you. Farmers market manager, here in the report, just skip over to the events for this month, quickly, and one more Friday night.
A couple things, and if I tie into what we're talking about, closing bathrooms at Marshall. Chamber of Commerce had the October 18th, I think the date was October 15th, for closing of the bathrooms. But we weren't, thinking of the Chamber of Commerce, and then also the, Friday from the canal folks. Are planning on using Canal Basin on Halloween to have a similar event. So, that would keep bathrooms be stay until first. So, you probably could, but they were talking, folks talking about winterizing it. Which would be turning water off and maybe stuff for, just something to think about, parks and recs, folks. There's plans for the event. Another thing on the events was, on the lights down there. There may be some institutional knowledge in how to operate the lights down there. So if someone on the Parks and Rec committee remembers about the breaker box in the park. Because now the events were shifting into like evening hours here, where the lights would be very valuable. But they are planning something for Halloween. And they have sponsors lined up for the events and event continues on. Good.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Then we'll, ask the treasurer if you have any sort of report for us right now.
No, I'm just, have been going through the different, applications that we have and reviewing, whether a certain application like QuickBooks is the best use for, the town. There's a couple other options that are more geared towards, smaller municipalities. I've been looking into that and, Mr. Payne and I actually were looking today at, some of the different phone services. We, have a pretty large bill for cell phones and internet, and so we started looking into combining it or maybe seeing if we could get a better price than what we have. What it does, I don't know if the, voice, the VIOB phone systems that we have, I think they were maybe put in for the DMV. And that's pretty expensive phone system, and I'm not sure that that's the best use of our money, so I'll have a report next time that we meet and let you know what I've discovered.
I know Mr. Payne has put in a lot of hours, listening to people say, what, not calling him back, and he's trying to explain that he is not the customer, the town is the customer. I heard him do that today, he was getting, feedback from whoever he was talking to, and was asking questions like he was the customer, and, so he, has had some frustrating moments, but I appreciate all his help in the office.
Yes.
Is there any other kind of scan report that we need to hear tonight, other than talk about the lease?
Well, yes. Yes. It won't take long, but I'd like to update you the same as the chamber does, even though we were there last week, at the workshop. In my notes, updated the gallery is, we're having the first Fridays, we're gonna be open a little later, hopefully with wine tastings each time. They had the first one a couple weeks ago, and that went well. The food was donated from Farmstead, so it's a really good collaboration between the wineries and the restaurants, etc., food places. I was actually at the gallery Saturday in and out, and was just surprised. We sold 3 pieces of art. One to a couple, their first time ever in Scottsville, staying for the weekend. And the other 2 were by one that was just driving through from North Carolina and stopped. And I was telling her, we're having the artist talk tomorrow. She said, no, I'm just driving through. Bought 2 pieces of art and ceramics. So we're gathering those zip codes. It seems like we're having a lot more not locals than locals coming through the gallery. Also a reminder, this final countdown to this Saturday is Nature with Nurture, or the 20th. That is this Saturday in the James River Regatta. Also a reminder for everyone that the Nature with Nurture is free down by River Raptors. Saying the name right? Saturday afternoon, and very family friendly. Please come on down. And lastly, Victory Hall, over the next few weeks, we have the 2 concerts. Drew Pace is this Friday night, and Allard Gunn and Pollock is first week in October. We had to cancel one for light turnout. Very short, but that's our updates. And I'm sorry to hear the Twilight Tours break the cancel. So
It's great to the lease thing in a little bit.
thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to the new topics, and let's, we can first started talking about a credit card policy last year. And, the administrator to update us on the progress of that.
Okay, so, yeah, so I, worked with, Greg, and, he told me that, like you just said, that this had started over a year ago. And he had, suggested, he brought in Albemarle County's recommendation of the policy. So we've gone back and forth, and then we, discussed it at the town, at the recent meeting, the work session. So the cost or the cutoffs and the limits are a lot less than what Albemarle and other localities are, but, I think this gives a good definition of what a small purchase, what a micro purchase is, who is authorized, who can authorize their own, purchases, or something like that. All receipts and documentation, we'd like to have that, there's prohibited transactions. Security fraud prevention and auditing and, dispute resolution. And, what I've provided in your packet is the actual policy. And, just as highlights, I can tell you that, it defines purchase cards and establishes small and micro purchase thresholds. It outlines card issuance and transaction limits. And I think, the town council had, wanted $500 per transaction, and then anything beyond that, you wanted to be, to read about that and discuss it. So I have that as unless it's council approved exception, and, also banning splitting of purchases, to make sure it's under 500, that's not allowed. Details authorization requirements for all staff and police department spending, requires competitive price quotes for larger purchases. And council notification and approval for major procurement. Mandates timely documentation, receipts, and review of all transactions. And set security and fraud prevention measures, including monthly auditing and annual training for everybody. And, list prohibited transactions. Personal use, gift cards, employee reimbursements. And, provide for policy review and updates and council oversight.
Any questions? Madam Administrator, on anything we have just gone over here? Pretty much covers all the necessary items, but I don't know if anything's not covered. Who can do it, when they can do it, and how they can do it. What the authority they do. That's how So, what we do at this point, if there's no direct questions, I'll just as presented to the town administrator, we can entertain a motion to adopt this purchase card, small purchase policy for the town of Scottsville as it has been presented. Make motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this?
I just like to say, I like the fact that it's gonna be annually reviewed, in case this doesn't work out next year, this time we could adjust it, so I think that's good, it's not a permanent. Policy.
Any other comments? Any other discussion?
I'm sorry, give us a second.
Either one of us.
Somebody makes it high.
Thank you.
There's no further discussion on the issue. The motion is to accept this policy as it has been presented, and we'll ask town administrator to call voice vote.
Okay, Alex Bissett,
Yes.
Dan Grigsby,
Yes.
Bill Heisen,
Here, yes.
Edward Payne,
Yeah.
Walter Calvin.
Yeah.
And Robin.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. And, scan lease, Beth and I met one day last week and just took care of some grammatical errors and a few little things and what you saw at the work session. And I typed up the new lease based on our meeting and dropped off it for Sunday. So if you want to come back to the podium to answer any questions as to, that's the change, and he's talked last week, just got English clear cleaned up and a couple of sentences that weren't really sentences, but paragraphs. Take care of. So, is there anyone have any questions about the scan lease before we take a vote on that, I'll ask, Stan, comfortable now with everything.
It's me, looking down at the, terms of the ways down right below its options. It says that the lease doesn't automatically renew, that a new term must be negotiated in writing 30 days prior to the expiration date of the lease. So the expiration date being the last day of the month of September. Would it be better to have future tenants to address the issue in August? That way. That way, if we address it August, come September, everything can be. Yes, because if we do it in September, if not, we won't. We won't be able to.
We can always discuss it in August, and vote on it in September.
It just says it negotiated and agreed upon in writing 30 days prior. Didn't say it could be more.
Yeah.
Just,
We did say 90 days to change it.
right, 90 was so long.
We could start negotiating anytime we want to, so
Right.
it has to be done in 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, so. Back to what she said, 30 days prior, so technically 30 days prior to the first of the month of September. Then that would be before we have a meeting, that's why I was just suggesting that we. Do the building and we can call it, that way it'll be something. Just an idea on there.
You know, any comments on changing the 30 back to 90 or 60? What do you would like to do?
If we look at it 30 days in the past, like you said, we always discuss it earlier and vote on it earlier. But, you know, it's a minimum of 30 days.
I think 30 is fine.
30 is what I'm going to.
Yeah, it has to be agreed upon 30 days prior. Well, obviously, if you're doing stuff, July.
But okay with you, we'll leave it at 30 days. Any other questions? We entertain a motion to accept the lease as presented and that, they'll find a mailing alongside.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just wanted to make sure that you, I don't know if that, and the town councilman, but you know, the town spent $3,000 for mold. They gave, without approval, a kiosk of $6,000 a few years ago. They gave a picnic table, or somebody gave a picnic table to them. And the maintenance van has helped them carry it. So I think this is very generous. I think the town's been all backwards to do this, and yeah, it's done some remarkable things, but I just, you know, I think that the town has really helped them a lot over the last few years, and they cut back, not even mentioning where they cut back the rent years ago. So, you know, I think it's, you know, this is reasonable, but I do think it needs to be looked at every year, because I think that property like that probably could, if it was commercial, it'd probably be 1,000 and more. So I just think that we're doing them a favor and not for another year.
Any other comments? Discussion. Moved and seconded and discussed, I'll ask the town administrator to call on the police.
Mr. Bissett,
Yes.
Mr. Gatsby,
Yes.
Mr. Heisen,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Mr. Benson,
Yes.
and Mr. Whitman.
Yes.
And I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Would you like that hockey player then? No.
Say again.
Oh, I was just teasing Dan, I just said it did play hockey. No problem.
All right, town administrator, let's get into this random vehicle.
All right, so we have been working on this, I guess, for a couple weeks now. We discussed it last week as well. With a lot of input from Chief Jenkins, and we also looked at Albemarle County and Charlottesville policy. And the highlights are that it defines and regulates abandoned vehicles under Virginia law. It establishes notification and legal procedures for both public and private property. It adds inoperable vehicle provisions requiring that such vehicles not be visible from public roads or adjacent parcels unless screened or stored indoors. And it specifies owners' rights, enforcement process, exemptions and cost recovery. So I provided the Code of Virginia on here. The only thing that I did add, since I sent this out on Saturday, was some verbiage on the inoperable motor vehicles. And by that, again, looking at what's out there in the state and localities that are close by. Inoperable motor vehicle does not display current license plates or registration decals. Doesn't display a current state inspection sticker. And has one or more flat or missing tires and sitting on blocks or is otherwise immobile due to mechanical condition or missing essential parts. That's visibly incapable of being legally operated on public roads.
Well, if someone has a dead inspection, are we towing their vehicle?
No, I don't think that's what the intent
So
is, but when you see a vehicle that's parked on the, you know. One of the entrances to the town that doesn't have any current stickers and it looks like it has a flat tire and hasn't been driven for months, I mean. I don't think it,
And would somebody notify you or the chief?
I think the notification would go to the owner of the vehicle. But
Well, I want to work, I know the vehicle that's been disabled for about a year. You know, that, who would you let know?
But it's on private property now.
Yeah, but it's visible to public roads according to this.
This is more geared toward
That's
walking areas that available to the public.
It's addressing both abandoned and inoperable vehicles. Like you'll remember the vehicle that was out here in the town parking lot for months that was just left out there. It didn't have, I don't think the inspection sticker had run out or something. And then most recently, the vehicle that was on Valley Street that I guess broke down and then its tags were expired. So currently, we don't have anything in their policy at all to prohibit those types of things. And then we started talking about, you know, inoperable vehicles just parks in,
Driveway, the driveway or front yard.
line of business.
Me too. Well, I think that's something, that might be a separate issue, but I do think that needs to look at, because this is a historical area.
think we should,
we discussed.
table this until we have the next work session.
Yes.
That's all these,
Okay,
so,
Yeah, that's what you, but I just point them out where they are too.
my question would be, after that is, you need to have signs in our public park, let's say, vehicles look unattended or. Within 48 hours or subject to tow. Because no one. They're not gonna. So that there is no.
right,
There's a tag.
yeah, it's right.
Might be going.
So, yeah, Chief brought this tag and I'll send it around that, you can either tie it onto the vehicle or there's a sticky part on here and it talks about, it's called an unintended vehicle check. And that's what they use in Avalon.
Would they use that on a private property, somebody's front yard or backyard?
I do not think so. I think this, is geared towards a vehicle like that's left in a public parking lot or public street.
So my question, this is more geared more toward public property, you know, public view or whatever. And back to what Councilor Heisen says, you know, it's being a historic district. How would it work, for example, we have East Main Garage, we have a bunch of vehicles in there. You know, Do we put the business owners that have automobiles that you dealership up the street from them and just ask them to park or move, or I can't tell a dealership to move cars faster, but you know. I was just wondering, you know, when we have events, we've got East Main Garage does not seem to clear the lot out. I mean, stay right here.
Well, maybe that's.
And that's right there, right.
You got it.
One of the things I was just gonna say about this part itself is nice, it's kind of like your note that you did. When it says this is not a traffic citation, something like this is something we could use in the future. Friendly reminder, we have an event this tomorrow, can you move your car, like we're not enforcing it, but we're reminding people. I do like that it says that, because that is something that we've talked about before. But the note that our town administrator created before, or friendly ways to remind people to work together in the town to encourage people to move their car either on certain dates or certain times. That, again, to help with some situations.
Like before the parade, and maybe before the night after Halloween, you just go.
Yeah, there's reasons to try to do something like that in a way that empowers the police officer to do something, but it's not, again, it's a step above doing nothing, but it's helping educate people that, hey, maybe don't park there because this business wants that space open. Again, it's a suggestion. I like that it says this is not a ticket. I mean, if I got that and it said it's not a ticket, I'd be happy, right? You know. Well, then you have a moral question, you know, do I do something about it?
Well, this is the first step, because we're looking at the abandoned and the not will be there. So they can say abandoned or, if it's abandoned, odds are it's an option. With a PPN, I believe with all of this, to kind of administrator pointed out, at least a couple more. So this will help a lot in a public parking lots and especially Valley and Main. And this is just the first step, I think. We have to look long and hard when it comes to East Main Street because it's a business. They may be grandfathered in, of course, that job is inoperable vehicles. I guarantee most of them will run right now. So this is just the start.
Yeah.
And
Talk about it more with the chief next month. Because they,
I do have one more question for that. Back to inoperable vehicles, whether it be on public. Does that mean that the town needs to set up an agreement with a local towing company to have on call?
I believe we told one of the other days, I think it's already in place.
Okay.
we all jurisdictions will have a list of market services and take all the fall. All the companies together, they do that on the list of everything, so.
Those changes that you know.
So public use, depending on the one, we look, just the next call and get. What it was number two, you know, number one, you gets the call. So, yeah, there's a couple of things on here, just because we have a fire inspection sticker does not mean your car is lawful. You can't write a ticket, at least when I was writing a ticket, you couldn't write a ticket for a car parked in on a public lot, another fire inspection sticker, it has to be operated to fire inspection. Same thing, and if you have a car sitting on the street, tags. Without tags. Not just expired tags, then you can tow it. But. We'll see what the current law says. The book that has all that stuff in it is about yay thick. And anyway, so let's put that on the work session agenda to get these couple of questions answered before we enact something other than the enforcement. Yep. Moving on. We'll lead us into the ramp ADA update.
Yes, So. I believe I. Was in the. A document, I did, we measured the, end of the ramp up here on Valley. It does meet the requirements as far as, there being enough space in between. I've also looked into those rubber dimple tactile, strips that you can put out. And the document that I provided, I had, looked into that. And, they said that that is not required, and they suggest just for it to be painted. Along the edges, the one thing that we would have to check is to make sure that the slope of the ramp does not exceed the grade that is allowable. And then actually the night that, I've taken, I've provided you a picture, I don't know if you'll, see where the ramp is. And I was just pointing out that there's other obstacles that are often along
I
the
thought that
side.
was part of possible.
Wheelchairs. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough room for someone in a wheelchair to get. But I think if they just painted along that, the edges. And then,
Like the black and yellow, like the white, I think people do.
so, in the research that I provided there too, it talks about, you can only do so much in a historic. Setting, I think Mayor's, talked about that before, is that.
Well, I have a question with the ARB, is there any way in the future, I understand everything, but this particular picture we have with. Up to standards or whatever, but is there anything ARB could do in the future, maybe encourage business owners instead of going out to the street, maybe to the side, that. Like kind of come up the ramp and turn the door, that way it makes more,
I could talk to him about it for sure.
I mean, I didn't know if that's something that ARB could control or suggest,
We can suggest if you're, I don't know, usually we have a pretty clear agenda when we meet. So I can try to get that on the next meeting. But as far as
Did the.
Scoping out the town.
Did they reach out to the town before the building either?
I did not hear anything from the, privately, prior to that, but I'm not really sure when it was installed because, I just started in July, so I'm not sure if it was right after or right before. I'm not sure.
Maybe I don't know. Cause I don't remember seeing that they do.
It's before July, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah, I mean, it's, the wood itself looks still pretty white, but it hasn't weathered, so. And I think also there was, you had a question about the club and the awning or whatever.
Alterations going on the backside of the building.
Right, so I also looked that up, they did have a meeting on June. June the 5th. Where that was discussed, and it's my understanding it was approved. We don't have the minutes yet.
So certificate of appropriateness issued for that.
It was on the agenda. And it's my understanding that it was approved, but we do not have the minutes yet.
All right, what are we talking about maintenance?
Just the straightening of the signs, I know that's been an ongoing topic, and we need to order some bolts or some type of spring action that goes at the bottom of the signs. The butterfly garden, James and I actually walked through, and I was asking him, who was that, like a month ago that we walked through there, about all the invasive species and vines and things like that, and he suggested that and tell me if I get this wrong, but that we wait until fall so the leaves naturally fall off. What's that?
So you're a
I
little
think
late.
they've already looked at it.
the owner of that building, as far as I know who it is, they've cleared out that part. or almost completely,
Oh, okay,
as far as the overgrowth. You know,
Okay.
all the desirable plants are still there.
Is it, I don't think but,
That is town property, but they've had a history of keeping it clean,
okay,
so I
okay.
think that is,
that's great.
So I just wanted to let you know that it was recommended to wait, and then that way the vines wouldn't still be. Dead up in the trees or whatever, but. My point is, we're working towards it, so. And I've written a letter, once again to Nelson Cable. I'd spoken to the owner, and then I also followed up in an email probably about a month and a half ago, asking them to please. Clean up around, where our cell tower and maintenance area is. And, I asked Jan the other day about an update on that, and he said that the. Dishes are still there, all the cables and all the spools, so I've written a letter to send out that I would like y'all's input. It's basically asking them to please. Move these items, and if they did not want to move the items, then perhaps we could enter a lease. Agreement with them, and they could pay us for storing their equipment and stuff.
And is Jim gonna clean up the town, trash up there? There's.
Yeah,
there's
we
like
talked about that,
The
we
last week.
talked about that last week, and he has taken it, I think
Okay, good.
the cleanup, and he's, yes, that is the 16th or the 18th that we. Will be doing that.
And we have 2 vehicles there too, I'm not sure, we talked about that, a truck and. Yeah, what are the little.
Yeah, John Deere, so.
Yeah, it's there for a year.
The mow was just taken the past few days, and we talked to the, repair shop today. And they're gonna provide us a quote on replacing the engine, and I believe they told me between $2,000 and $3,000. Was that what, 1 to 2, okay, $1,000 to $2,000, and then I think it was $140 to look it over to see if everything else was. Okay with it, and I explained to them that I would be, that we have a meeting tonight, and I would go. What you all suggest.
Did they verify that the engine is shot in? If not, simple.
There's a visible crack in.
Okay.
And I don't know anything about how we're saying.
Explain some of that to me this afternoon, I'll turn it over to him, I guess.
Yeah, my thoughts on it was, one day we got it to the repair shop. And all things. If you look at the mower and everything else that's optimal. And, they all have wear and tear, we don't want to put a new engine into. On top of the deck that might fall off the next day. So it has a thorough inspection and minor repairs are made. I would go ahead and spend the money to get the new motor. That's a lot cheaper than I knew, we don't need a totally new. Mower out of the thing, so if everything else is work, I think it's, a good deal.
So if we get it fixed and it's in good running order, and it can be it's useful, where we can store it for the winter.
Well, James will have to clean up that shed a little bit, put
Yeah.
tarp over it, put tarp over.
You get it in the shed.
Oh, yeah.
Let's put that on his list.
Some things you might have to put out. Yeah.
Worst case scenario, if we can't get the shed cleaned up, what's the possibility of the town maybe, leasing a small unit, right, at the storage because my standard for 2 to 3 months, or, for the winter time to keep it out of the weather. We don't have problems with
But
We'll talk about that.
then you, once you get back, we gotta take care of it over here too, so. You gotta think the year round thing, take care of everything you use, take care of what you don't use. I know.
Like I said, if we could put money into both, we do need to protect it, but we
Right,
put more money into digging outside.
well, you can put a tarp with it, it'd be fine. You could still get a little less than that, but no, I wanted to ask, I know a couple of people were interested in the Gator and the truck, And I think the Gator was donated, and I wonder if we could just sell it to them if they're interested. I think it was or somebody, but they asked about taking those and fixing them up themselves, and there's people who do those kind of things. Or we could just take that and done too.
I asked Melody about that, about us selling the vehicle, and she told me that we had to list it on the government website for auction. And that if no one is interested in purchasing it that way, then we can sell it outright. So I did register us on
Okay,
the
good.
government deals website, but
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with
I don't
that.
think you have to do that Gator though, because somebody told me that was donated to the town. So if it's a donation, I don't think the influence.
Okay.
That's what we're thinking.
Yeah, I would actually I would be interested in knowing how much it would cost to repair the gator as well.
Yeah.
Cause I think that would be something that you could ride around town and, do what you need to do and not necessarily have to drive a big pickup truck, so.
Like something that we don't, maybe worth purchasing something like that in the future, because I think that is, it was really valuable during the 4th of July. Picking up signs, things like that. Bad things.
Okay, that looks like sort of the end of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to mention an issue to you and the fellow town councilors, and this is in light of the fact that sadly, we as a town are not exempt from national claims. If you all remember back in June, there was a Democratic lawmaker and her husband that were murdered. Last week, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's bringing it up both out of deep sadness for what's happened. It's important, I think, for us as town councilors and also for the citizens of Scottsville to know that we are a town that respects the freedom of speech. And that while at times, if you evidence us, we will have some rather lively debates. It's important for people to know that all ideas are welcome. As a government, all ideas are welcome here. That doesn't mean we might not have fierce debate amongst us, but I want, in the light of where we are as a nation, I think it's wise for us as a town to just remind our citizens that as you have ideas for this government, please submit them to the mayor, to the town administrator, to us. Please give those ideas here. Several of you who serve with me have served in our military, and I appreciate that you have our nation protected from afar. I have a new appreciation of that with a daughter in the Army now. But it's also our jobs to make sure that we are welcoming to ideas and that we're defending that opportunity for people to feel that their ideas are welcome here. So that I simply, in the light of what's gone on, I want to reiterate that here, that people feel they have a voice with each one of us, and that voice is always available. Please make sure, and I know often if people watch what we do, hopefully sometimes we put you to sleep. But there are other times where we have pretty vigorous debates and rigorous debate, and we need your input and your voice. So please know that that voice is welcome.
Thank you, Dan. Before we adjourn, since it wasn't on the printed agenda and I got wrapped up in giving Carter his award. Nancy or Molly, anything you wish to bring before the public, way of a public forum, skipped over public forum tonight? Anything? There's your chance. Okay. Hearing nothing. We'll close the public forum. I didn't want to ignore you, but I didn't know what anybody else. So that's it. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor? Right, sure. Yes, sir.